Welcome back. You're watching KTN News Desk. The Africa Bar Association conference is currently ongoing at the KICC here in Nairobi. Let's go over there live and listen in.
Your Excellency, Deputy President William Ruto, Your Lordship, Honourable Justice Maraga, the Honourable Attorney General Judge Kariuki, Governor of the Nairobi City County, Mr. Mike Sonko, distinguished guests, learned friends, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. I'm delighted to be here with you today, representing the African Export-Import Bank. To start with, let me just introduce myself. I'm the General Counsel of the African Export-Import Bank, Afreximbank, and permit me, please, to convey the warm regards of the President of the bank, Mr. Dr. President Benedict Orama, who sadly could not be here in person, but he sends his warm regards. Earlier this year, I was recognized as one of the 100 most influential people of African descent under 40 in 2018. This is part of a wider, thank you. This is part of a wider United Nations initiative to recognize the contribution of people of African descent on the world stage. The class of 2018 is pretty impressive. I am keeping company with Hollywood actress and Kenyan national Lupita Nyong'o, Nigerian author Chimamanda Adichie, and Zenith Capital CEO Jibril Enakele. And as mentioned by the previous speaker, when I look at my fellow nominees, I'm reminded that Africa's greatest resource is and always has been her people, which is why I'm delighted to be speaking on the topic of Africa's socio-economic and political future, Agenda 2063 in perspective. I'd like to briefly, I know we're running short of time, but I would briefly also like to say thank you to our hosts, the African Bar Association, for continually being at the forefront of building a strong Pan-African network of lawyers. So my speech will focus on the practicality of how we implement Agenda 2063 and what we at Afreximbank are doing to assist. Agenda 2063 was conceived in 2015, 50 years after the AU's predecessor, the Organization of African Unity, was established. But it is rooted in a much older tradition, being that of the persistent Pan-African drive over the centuries for unity, self-determination, freedom, and collective prosperity. Agenda 2063 builds on the past, but it is about the future, our future. But before we move on to the future, let me quickly take you back to the recent past. A time when men were heroes, the glory of nations was celebrated, and the world united behind a common goal. I am, of course, talking about the 2018 World Cup. This month-long global festival of football provides an interesting prism within which to analyze our contemporary condition. There were 5 African teams who qualified, none of whom made it to the knockout stages. It was actually Africa's worst performance since 1982. This is even though Africa has consistently produced some of the best talent playing in the international leagues. What can we take from this? I think firstly, potential is no guarantee of success. Whether the prize is a World Cup trophy or sustainable development, success requires financial resources, discipline, and accountability. Secondly, there is no substitute